Hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to tonight's conversation. Today, we're going to be talking about carbohydrates and everything you need to know about carbohydrates. Okay, so you're going to be learning the good, the bad, and the ugly facts about carbohydrates and how choosing the right kind of carbohydrate, just understanding carbohydrates in general can help you make the right food choices that would help you to not only lose weight but also to maintain your weight going forward. So if you're just joining, I'd like to know where you're watching from. Let me connect with you, say hello in the comments, and please feel free to share this video as well. And if you have any questions or you need some help, mentorship, or coaching with losing weight, you can reach out to me after you watch this video. My contact information will be on the description box. So for those of us that are just meeting me for the very first time, my name is Faith Capona Rico. I am a beauty and well-being consultant with Oriflame that basically help people to, look great, both with their skin and also to achieve their ideal weight. All right. So, what are carbohydrates and what should you understand about this group of macronutrients? So the first thing that we need to understand is that carbohydrates are macronutrients. Excuse me for a minute. I'm just trying to share the link to have more people join the live session. So please, if you're joining again, feel free to share, and also stay to the end. And I'm going to be sharing with you one amazing way you can reduce the amount of carbohydrates that you're consuming every day and still reach your weight loss goal and also maintain your weight. Okay, so if you're joining, I see that we have a couple of people joining in. Come and say hello in the comments. I'd like to really connect with you and I'd like to give you a shout out. Okay, so what are carbohydrates, right? So carbohydrates are a class of food. Please let me know if you can hear me, please. I just want to be sure. If you can hear me, please let me know in the comment. Let me know if I'm loud and clear. Let me know if you can hear me clearly. Let me know if you can hear me clearly. Hello, Madam Philomena. Thank you very much for joining live. Can you hear me? It's my audio very good? Hi, Beatrice. Thank you for joining. Please, I'd like to know if you can hear me. I'd like to know if you can hear me. Oh, fantastic. All right. So we can actually go ahead. Yes. So carbohydrates are actually a class of food. So we've got different classes of food. We've got carbohydrates, we've got proteins, we've got fat, and then we've got the micronutrients. Okay. So carbohydrates are a group of macronutrients. These are nutrients that our body needs in large amounts to be able to provide the energy and also the nutrition that our body needs to stay healthy, right? So with carbohydrate is a class, okay, and it's very important. It's a very, very important food group that gives us a lot of energy so that we can, our body can function the way it is designed to function. Unfortunately, it's also one of the classes of food that is abused the most, basically because of its taste. It actually tastes really sweet, and there's how our body breaks it down, there's how our body metabolizes it. And if you're not careful, you can easily quickly consume way too much. And then our body takes what it needs and then begins to store the rest in all sorts of places. And that's what over time makes us to add more weight, makes us to become fat, because the body converts excess of the carbohydrate as well as other food groups into fat to store it, okay, because you're giving your body way too much of it. So how do you know the kind of carbohydrates to eat and the ones to avoid? So there are actually two major classes of carbohydrates. we've got the complex carbohydrate, and we've got the simple carbohydrate. So I want you to follow the conversation, and as you're hearing, all this part, the aha moments, please drop it in the comment. Okay. So we have, like I said, we've got two major types or groups, or classification, I would say. They're called the simple carbs and the complex carbs. But when you want to really look at carbohydrates, they actually come in three different forms, right? We've got fiber, we've got starch, and then we've got sugar. Okay, so these three types of carbohydrates, once you understand which which class or which category, whatever it is that you're eating it, once you can identify, am I eating sugar, am I eating starch, or am I eating fiber, you can now make better decisions when it comes to your food. And when you make better decisions when you come to your food, you will naturally stay away from certain things. Many times we just eat everything because we don't have that knowledge, that like background, residual knowledge about what we're eating. We just think this is nice, just throw it inside your mouth. But when you can now like ask yourself, what am I eating? Am I eating simple sugars? Am I eating starch, or am I eating fiber? Okay, so when we look at the good, the bad, and the ugly, we want to now we want to now like classify which ones fall into the good ones, which one falls into the bad ones, and which one falls into the ugly ones. Okay, and again, before I go ahead in classifying these different food groups, it's important to note that no food is bad. Please type it in the comment. No food is bad. You just have to understand how much of it your body needs and regulate the amount your body needs. And then if you have overweight or you have a medical condition, maybe you are like diabetic, especially the high blood sugar, the certain foods that your body doesn't need because your body doesn't have the capacity to utilize it. Okay, so every time you give your body that food, it becomes really bad for your body. Okay, right. So no food is bad. It's important to understand that. What is really bad is how much of it we consume. Okay, so I'm going to start with the simple sugar. So the simple sugars are, or the sugars, which is also carbohydrate. It's the one that we found, which is the glucose, fructose, sucrose. These are like the ones that are easily absorbed and utilized by our body. And these simple sugars actually readily available. Your body does not need to do too much work to take them up and also use them. And because they are really easy for your body to access, your body uses them up real quick and then it wants more of it. So this is why when you consume a lot of simple sugars, you find that you are quickly satisfied, okay? But then after a few hours, you are hungry again, or something is, your brain is basically sending signals to say, I want more, I want more, I want more. How many of us have noticed that when you drink one bottle of soda, many times you feel good and you feel this nice satisfaction and be like, okay, I feel good. But then after a few hours, sometimes like an hour or two, your body starts to tell you, okay, I've used up what you've given me, can I have more? And then you're quickly looking out for how to satisfy that hunger. Why? Because you've basically given your body very easy food to digest. So what kind of what kind of what kind of food groups fall under simple sugars? What kind of food groups fall under simple sugars? So we have normally raw sugar. Okay, so the sugar that you add into your gari, sugar that you add inside your tea, the normal one, whether it's brown sugar or white sugar, they're all regular sugar. Then we've got the corn syrup or high fructose. So these are the ones that usually come in certain processed foods. They'll say, this is, oh, it's healthy food, though. It came from corn sugar, it came from sugar cane. All of them, they're added sugars, all right? And we've also got fructose, we've got sucrose. These are additives. Many times these simple sugars are like additives to processed food. So the sugars that you find in your biscuits, the sugars that you find in your sweets, the sugar that you find in chocolate, the sugars that you find in things that you can just quickly just munch and you feel like I'm all right. The sugars that you find in also juice. Okay, many of us would like to drink juice here. Juice gang, packet juice gang. So the all of those things, cookies, biscuits, fruit juice, And then also your breakfast, your cereal. Many of us like cereal. Anybody here that still likes take, the cornflakes and the rest, yeah. So all of those food groups actually have very simple sugars, and this is why every time you take those type of food, after you feel hungry for you feel okay for a bit, but then after a few hours you want to eat something else. And then baked goods like bread, snacks, chin chin, puff puff. We're Nigerian. I'm actually talking to Nigerians, so I know that probably people from outside Nigeria may find this video, but baked goods generally. So the bread, I mean, if you have eaten bread and then 2 hours later, you have to load it up with something else. So all of that are they contain simple sugars. Now, the truth is that if I was to classify ugly carbohydrates, I would classify simple sugars as ugly carbohydrates. They fall under the ugly carbohydrate groups. And these are the groups of carbohydrate that you want to take as treats. Okay. So it's important that you treat yourself this. You don't necessarily have to cut it out completely, but realize that this should not be your main source of food. Okay. Do you understand what I've just said? These categories of what I've just talked about, simple sugars, sodas. Okay, I don't want to call specific brand names, but you guys know what we're talking about now. The sodas, right? Fizzy drinks, right? They come in different labels. Okay, right? You don't want to. Many of us, if you eat anything, you have to step down with soda. It has now become part of your everyday meal. Many of us, every food we eat, we step down with either juice or one of these drinks, fizzy drinks, right? It's important to realize that those things should not constitute your main meal. Okay, they should not be part of your main meal. They can be an occasional treat. Are we together? So you can see them as occasional treats. Bread, for example, should not be something you eat every day. Many of us eat bread every day. Morning for breakfast, you're eating bread. At night or anytime you feel hungry, you block your belly with bread. So now bread is not like your main source of food. It should not be. You should actually classify them as treats, something you treat yourself to once in a while. And if possible, if you're on a weight loss journey, if you're currently overweight, we want to encourage you to limit or restrict your consumption of these ugly quote unquote or simple sugars as much as possible. Are we together? Are you getting value? Please let me know if you're getting value. So cookies, biscuits, chocolate. Some of you open your fridge now. I want to show that you are an enjoyment officer. Is how much of all of these simple sugars that you've loaded your fridge with somehow makes you feel like, okay, I'm enjoying life. Do you agree with me? True or false? When we look at some people's refrigerator, when they open their fridge, you see all kinds of packets of things, and to them, this is how they feel like, okay, I've arrived, I'm enjoying life. Yeah, true or false? So these are things that you should actually classify as treat. You need to understand that this is not my main food. This is not what will give me the energy. This is not my ideal energy source. When I'm hungry, this is not what I should reach out for. When I want to eat, when I want to load my system with carbohydrate, this is not my best option. Okay. I hope this is making sense for us. So all classes of simple sugar, and it's important that you now begin to learn how to read labels. Okay, when you buy anything, you want to look at the labels. You want to check what the nutritional composition of everything that you eat. You want to take a good look at it. The other day, I mean, I enjoyed this 3-in-1 coffee. Okay, 3-in-1 coffee. I'm very careful not to mention brand names. Okay, so I'm going to try not to mention brand names, but you guys, you know what we're talking about, right? So my favorite 3-in-1 coffee. This is something like my husband and I, we enjoy all the time. We have it for breakfast, and then sometimes we just want to just while chatting, just want to drink something, and then that's what we reach for. And a couple of days ago, I just thought about, let me just even check. I enjoy this thing a lot. Let me just even check the nutritional composition of this thing that I always enjoy and I always take, because I'm being very careful now about the amount of simple sugars that I consume, basically because of the knowledge that I have and my weight loss journey. And ladies and gentlemen, I checked, and my goodness, I saw that this small, tiny, this sachet of 3-in-1 sugar, 3-in-1 coffee, right, contains about 11 grams of sugar. 11 grams of sugar. 11 grams of sugar is equivalent to 3 cubes of sugar. My dears, that was the last day I took it. Last day. This is something I've been enjoying for years. That was the last day I took it because I realized that every time I drink just this one small sachet, I'm taking in 3 cubes of sugar into my body. So while as a woman, it's important that you don't take more than 5 cubes of sugar per day. And these cubes of sugar is not like you are leaking the sugar, but they are present in different things that you have eaten. So you need to begin to understand how much of this simple sugar that you're consuming into your body and begin to gradually eliminate them. Before you eat that packet of biscuits, before you eat that cereal, okay, cornflakes, fruit and fiber, all of those things, you want to ask yourself how much simple sugar is present in this. And you could just go online and Google, convert it to how many, the equivalent of that gram of sugar in terms of how many cubes of sugar, right? Yeah. So soda is very. I think we kind of like learned that one small 35 cl of soda contains up to 7 cubes of sugar, if not more. And then even some of the things okay, low sugar, this, that, that. By the time you check the simple carbohydrates, and they come in different names, you know, these are the ugly carbohydrates, and this is why, and these are things that a lot of people are susceptible to. Most people say, I don't eat a lot, oh, I know they chop plenty. It's even once a day I even eat. But then all of these things that we pick and just throw in our mouth without thinking, mindlessly eating them, they actually they contain so much calories. I know they chop. You don't chop 3,000 calories in a day without sitting down on a table. Why? Because you're consuming a lot of these, over processed food, and many times they are high in simple sugars, which, in my opinion, I can classify them as ugly sugars. Okay, guys, don't forget to share this video so that we have more people joining. If you're getting value and you know and any of your friends that might enjoy this, please share the link, okay, so that they can join us as well. Okay, so if you're here and you're not a baby, please, I don't understand why do you still take cornflakes for breakfast? Why? Please explain to me. When I hear an adult taking cornflakes for breakfast, that used to be me actually. Why are you taking it? You don't need it. Your body doesn't need it. Okay, they're loaded with complex, simple carbohydrates, and actually your body like doesn't really. It's not enjoyment. It's not enjoyment. Please type it in the comment. It's not enjoyment. I am not enjoying life. Okay, so let's look at the second type of carbohydrate, which is starch. Okay, so starch actually comes in normal food that we eat, like for an average Nigerian diet. So things like our um, rice, oats, corn, peas, wheat, all of that, they actually contain starch. Okay, and starch are okay because they're a complex form of carbohydrate. So your body actually needs time to break it down, but still your body does not need too much of it because one small amount can give you several hundreds of calories. Okay, and if you're eating them 3 times a day, for example, you have a bowl of rice and then you load up a lot of a lot of that on your plate, you are eating good food is okay, but you might be in consuming a lot of carbohydrates, which may be more than your daily requirement. I remember we said that your body will take in what it needs and then it will store up the rest as fat. Okay, so starches are okay, they are not bad. Okay, they are not. I wouldn't say they are bad. Okay, so we're classifying as good, bad, and ugly, right? So if I was to say bad, if I was to say bad carbohydrates, now remember, no food is bad, but because of the theme of our talk tonight, we've classified the simple sugars under the ugly category. The bad category would be the starch, okay, especially the ones that have been over processed. Now, remember that no food is bad. I hope you guys are understanding and following the conversation, okay? So I'm not saying stop eating rice. You should, but then you should be very, very mindful about the quantity of the starch-based carbohydrate that we eat. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're eating. Many times it's recommended that your carbohydrate should be like a fistful of your carbohydrate, usually a cup, and you should take, depending on your weight loss goal. If you're losing weight, you should just take like 3/4 of your plate. So you have a round plate, half of it should be the good carbohydrates, which we're going to be talking about in a bit, and then 1/3 of your plate should be this starch, okay, while the other part should be protein. All right, are you guys following me? Okay, so you have a plate, right? You divide that plate into two. Half of it should be the good carbohydrates, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, and then the other half, divide it into two. Half of it should be, you know, the starch-based carbohydrates, which can be your rice, yam, potatoes. For Nigerians, we have all that corn-based meal, right? Most of these semo and stuff that we take, they're actually made from corn. Many of our swallows, cassava, guys, share with me in the comment about Nigerians. So that we can classify some of the things that we eat. Okay, so anything that is starch-based, you should not eat more than a fistful of it, okay, on the average. So you want to make sure that when you're eating your food, the starch is not more than a fistful. That way, that's you're giving your body just the right amount. Many times, what we find is that this our starch, right, takes up the whole portion of our plate. Then when you now want to add the vegetable or the sauce, you now put the vegetable on top and then one small meat, right? Are we together? We're all Nigerians now. Do you agree? When we want to serve ourselves food, we make sure the starch fills up the plate. Then some of you will even say, I don't like stew, I don't like sauce. Some of us will eat rice and then eat banana on top of it. you know and then our eba, many of us we eat plenty gari, plenty eba, plenty fufu, and then the soup is just small. Just the soup is not the side, but really the starch should be the side. So your potatoes, your yam, it should actually be the side. All right, and then the main meal should actually be the protein and the good carbohydrates. Are we getting value so far? Right. So you want to limit the amount of starch that you're consuming every day to a fistful. I hope you guys can remember that. And now let's talk about the best or the good carbohydrate that we want to eat. Now, the good carbohydrate is the fiber, okay? The fibers are like the good carbohydrates, and the fibers come in fruits, vegetables, nuts, beans, and whole grains. Okay, fruits, vegetables, nuts, beans, and whole grains. Those are like good carbohydrates. Why are they good carbohydrates? They are good because they fill you up. Okay, they give you that bulk. They give you that feeling of I don't believe full, right? So you have food in your stomach, but your body cannot break it down. Your body cannot use it. Okay, your body does not have the capacity to break it down, but they keep you full. You don't feel like your your stomach is empty. You don't feel like there's a hole in your stomach and you need to fill it up. And your body does not really take a lot of calories from it because your body does not have the capacity to break it down. However, the bacteria that are in our gut, okay, we've got bacteria in our gut. We've got a lot of microorganisms inside our stomach. We call them the good bacteria in our gut that help to promote different things, especially our immunity, our immune system. The bacteria in our gut are very, very, they support our immune system. They make sure that our immunity is strong. That's why many times when you're sick, many times they tell you to go and purge. True or false? They tell you to go and purge. They tell you to go and take things that would help your gut, okay, to make sure that your gut health is good. Because once your gut health is good, you're not going to be falling sick all the time. Okay, once your gut health is good, your skin will be good. Once your gut health is good, your immunity will be strong, basically, because they help to boost your immunity. I'll probably do another session talking about gut health and all of that. But the most important thing that you want to take away from today's session is that when you take good carbohydrates, when you take a lot of fiber, which is fruits, vegetables, beans, whole grains, and nuts, your body may not be able to convert them into calories. They will fill you up. They'll make you feel sated. They're actually very tasty and delicious as well. And they support your gut health. So those are like the good carbohydrates that you should be taking. So when you're eating your rice, how about you making sure that the rice is a fistful? You've also got your protein. Okay, so your protein can be fish, can be meat, can be shrimps, I don't know, depending on whether what's your food choice, chicken, lean meat, all of that. Then half of your food should be like, you know a I like it like a the half should be like a I'm trying to use one fine English to explain how it should be. It should be a parade of vegetables, it should be a parade of vegetables. So you want to eat rice today, and then you can decide to have, make cabbage, carrots, and some, really nice, walk it up. All those aboki by your side, that should be your best friend. The aboki by the side of your street should be your best friend. So just slice up cabbage, carrots, different things. A garland, Kojoy, thank you so much for always supplying me this grammar. A garland of vegetables, like your plate should actually look very, very colorful. With all of that, half of it should be all of that. And if you want to do like the greens, so your ugu, your efori roll, your for those of you that do spinach, I would take spinach as smoothie. I've not tried it as like a side or a sauce. So there's a lot of you can do a lot of sauce with this um really good fiber, and a garland of vegetables, as Coach Joy have shared. Okay, and then you also want to add like nice fruits like apples and the rest to it. Okay, so beans is also very good. Okay, so beans is actually very good. So there's a research that has shown that people who eat beans at least 3 times a week can increase their lifespan by at least 10 years. Have you seen that research before? The day I saw it, I was blown away. If you eat beans up to 3 times a week, you can actually increase your lifespan by 10 years. If you have somebody who has high blood sugar or diabetic, you find that they encourage them to eat a lot of beans because it has complex carbohydrates, keep them full, but it does not release the sugar, does not spike your blood sugar level. So you want to eat a lot of beans when you are to manage your sugar level. Okay, so also if you're on a weight loss journey, highly recommend you do more beans than rice. The way I've also structured the way I eat right now, I think I probably do rice once a week. I think, and this is what our parents used to do in those days, guys. Do you remember? Rice used to only be on Sundays. How many of us remember? Those of us that are like, the not the Gen Zs. The Gen Zs are like Indomie generation. The Gen Zs are Indomie generation. So the millennials and the baby boomers, right? If you're here, say hello. How many of us remember when rice used to just be only on Sundays, on special occasions like Easter, Christmas, or when somebody's having a birthday party? How many of us remember? That's what rice used to be. Okay, but now we find ourselves consuming rice every single day. It's almost like a daily thing for a lot of people, and that's why our health is deteriorating. That's why our lifespan is reducing. But look at our parents. Beans is like normal every day. Staple in most homes used to be like beans, and they used to be like swallow gari. Gari is full of fiber actually, and then they eat eba literally almost every day, but with a lot of vegetable freshly cooked soup. And that's why you see them, they are strong, they're active. Of course, they add a lot of physical exercise. They go to the farm, they walk a lot, they do a lot of physical exertion. And even the fufu that they eat, because it's fermented, I like to say that it has a little bit of probiotics, so it helps their gut health a lot. Okay, so we'll do a lot of like conversations around that in a bit, but just to give you an idea of how to now begin to eat in such a way that you will live longer. Okay, and now understanding which classes of carbohydrates I'm supposed to consume every day. So you have 7 days in a week. How about you just choose to do rice once a week, as we used to do it before, or rice once a week, do beans or beans variations at least 3 times, 2 to 3 times a week, and then walk around other potatoes. Actually very good, actually one of the best sources of fiber. Okay, so you want to do potatoes as well, sweet potatoes as well. I don't know of any nut based food. Even your swallow, you can actually decide to do oats, for example. the same swallow you want to swallow, right? You can actually do oats instead of doing normal diary. So if you create like a meal plan where you are able to walk through all of the different carbohydrate source, but prioritizing the ones that are very, very high in fiber. So I hope you guys have gotten value from this. So we've talked about the good, the bad, and the ugly carbohydrates. And remember that the ugly carbohydrates, you want to restrict your intake. You want to classify them as treats, not as proper food. Okay? Good, ugly carbohydrates are what? Treats. Ugly carbohydrates are treats, right? Bad carbohydrates are mostly starch. They're not bad, okay, but we want to make sure that we restrict our consumption to as little as a fistful, and you want to reduce them to once or twice a week, okay? Make sure that your starch consumption is once or twice a week. Your ugly carbohydrates, if you can cut them out completely, great. If not, only take them as a treat. Only eat those processed food, cake, bread, pasta, some kinds of pastas are good. Whole wheat pastas are very good. Okay, whole wheat pastas are very good. All right. So so your ugly carbohydrates, only when you go for a party and then they are sharing it, you can just have a piece of cake and you're good. Or once in a while, somebody's doing birthday in your family. Okay, you guys can enjoy that. It's a treat. And also guys, this is very important for our children as well. Many of us are parents here, and we're already the thing that your parents didn't even give you. You are giving your children thinking that you don't want your children to suffer, but you're actually killing them slowly, right? So even for your children, you need to begin to teach your children to differentiate between treats. You're giving your children biscuit. You think you're a good auntie. You come to somebody's house and you buy sweets and biscuit for somebody's children. You are loading them up with sugar, ugly sugar, really, really bad for them. Okay? Really, really bad for them. So it's important that once you now learn and understand these categories, you know how to choose your carbs right. And in choosing your carbs right, you now know how to give your body the right thing that it needs. Okay. Now this brings me to our meal replacement. Okay. All right. So our meal replacement, one of the reasons why I love our meal replacement is that it has carefully taken into cognizance. Remember that meal replacement is actually a complete meal. It's actually balanced diet on its own. Okay, and this is why we call it meal replacement. It will help you to replace some of those carbohydrate dense food that we eat. Many of us eat this starch every day. Most people is like, if I never swallow, I never chop food. Do I have anybody in that group here? And in especially in Nigeria, what we find is that the way you show your husband that you love him is by making sure that every day he comes back from work, he either has a bowl of rice, a bowl of eba, a bowl of yam. True or false? And most people have maybe gas when they eat beans. So many times you don't even give him beans, which is good for his health. Okay, so same thing for the entire family. So we're making a lot of very bad choices. Many of us work, and then when we come back from work, we're tired. The only thing you want to swallow is eba. We want to eat rice. So eating those things as our dinner, we end up giving ourselves. And many of us, we have to step it down. I remember when I was really fat, and I looking back and I realized the mistake that I was making, and that was every time I eat rice, I must drink juice or I must drink soda as per enjoyment. And like, why will you eat normal food and drink water? It's like you're suffering, no? But I realized that those were the things that were making me overweight. And then some of people say, oh, but I only eat once a day. But what are you stepping down that your food with? What class of carbohydrates is mostly in that your meal? Okay, so it's important that you understand this and then you choose your food groups right. So this is why I personally love our Weightloss meal replacement. Because it's a complete meal. Why is it so amazing as your night meal? Because the choice of carbohydrates that Oriflame put, now this has the right amount of carbohydrate, this has the right amount of protein, and also has the right amount of fat. The carbohydrate that Oriflame chose for this meal replacement are the good carbohydrate, fiber, three major sources. We've got um, inulin from inulin from chicory roots. Inulin is actually one of the best fibers in the world. Go and Google it. It's one of the best fiber that your gut needs. They say that it makes your gut happy. It balance all, like all the bacteria and all the microorganisms inside your stomach. When they see inulin, they're happy, as in enjoyment. They're literally dancing because it's giving them exactly what it needs. And it's from chicory roots. Okay, that's one. Then we've got dextrine from corn. Okay, dextrine from corn is another fiber that Oriflame added to our meal replacement. Just give me a second. I want to read exactly what is here so that we have a very good understanding that when you're taking this, you're giving your body, and because you're taking it every day, you're giving your body just the kind of carbohydrate that it needs. Okay, so quick second, right? So yeah, so the the prebiotic inulin fiber from chicory roots is what is part of here, and then the resistant dextrine from corn, which helps to reduce your risk for cardiovascular diseases and also certain types of cancer. That's the beautiful thing about dextrine. And then we've got dietary fiber from faba beans. Okay, this dietary fiber from faba beans helps to give you that feeling of fullness. How many of us are already taking this? How many of us have that feeling of satiety, fullness after taking it? I find that every time I take it for my dinner, this is what I've replaced my dinner with, and I feel full till about 11 o'clock the next day. So I'm happy to literally skip breakfast because I don't feel hungry. And then in the afternoon, I have like my first meal for the day, and that takes me. Today I had one fufu and afang soup. You know afang soup, you understand, you understand the selection, right? So one wrap of fufu with afang. I really enjoyed my lunch. And every day I have just one meal. And because I now know how to select my carbohydrates, make sure I have more good fiber, whether it's from vegetable soup or whether it's from salad or whether it's from some sort of, this healthy fibrous group. Okay, I have it as my lunch and I feel full until dinner time when I have to take my meal replacement. Okay, so this fiber helps you to feel full, and then it helps you to have very good bowel movement. I always suffer from constipation, but since I started to take it, going to the toilet is not battle of Muzanga anymore. Why? Because of this dietary fiber, it's easy for you to pass your stool and everything, right? So this is why I absolutely love it, because when Oriflame was creating this, in putting carbohydrate here, and we have no sugar, we only have stevia, which is a natural sweetener with zero calories. So it tastes sweet, and but you're not getting calories from sugar or simple sugar. Okay, it improves the taste, makes it really tasty without adding any calories, right? And the major carbohydrate source are actually fiber. Not even the bad carbohydrate is in here, just the good stuff. Okay, please type in the comment only the good stuff, only the good stuff in here. I hope you guys have gotten value so far. Maybe in the next live, we're going to talk about protein so that you also understand proteins. There are also good proteins and there are bad proteins. There are good fats and there are bad fats. Okay, so you just have to understand which one you should select and then use that knowledge to begin to eat intelligently. Many of us just throwing anything we like inside our mind. Oh, I cannot help myself. No, the only thing is that you don't have good knowledge. And I believe that by watching this video and by being part of this conversation, you now have a better understanding. You can now make better food choices. Even when you go to a party, even when you go for a buffet, you go out, you want to go out for an outing, you can actually choose the right things to put on your plate, because you cannot tell yourself, nope, this is good, this is bad, this is ugly. Okay, I can have the ugly stuff because hey, it's a party, but then you know that I can only have a little bit of it, and if I have that, I've eaten my quota for the week, I've eaten my quota for the month. All right, I hope this makes sense for you. So I just want to have my dinner now. Okay, and I'm using soy milk. Some reason I actually prefer soy milk. Not like I'm lactose intolerant or anything, but like I think I'm enjoying the soy milk. So with a meal replacement, what makes it a full meal is the fact that you add the shake. It's a milkshake actually. So our meal replacement is actually a milkshake. All right. So you have a milkshake for your dinner. Okay. So you want to add up to about 250 ml if you are having low fat cow milk, 1.5. And then for soy milk, you want to have 300. But personally, I still do the 250 ml. I still feel fine. So whatever works for you, right? So all you need to do is, this is what it looks like. Just a scoop, 2 scoopful, right? 2 scoop, and that's it. You've got balanced diet, the right amount of um, good carbohydrates. The milk provides the protein. This is why you must take your meal replacement with protein, with the milk. So either low fat 1.5 cow milk or soy milk. There are other types of plant-based milk like almond milk, oat milk, different types, but they don't have the right amount of protein that your body needs to make sure that it has, taken the right amount of protein. Okay, so you want to shake this up a little bit so that it dissolves. And my dears, that's it. Dinner is done. Now imagine if I have to cook rice. To boil the rice, to wash it, take somewhere around 20-25 minutes, and then I have to make my stew or my soup or my sauce. That one, it has to be, in fact, you have to make it stew separate day. You cannot cook rice and stew on the same day. Everybody, hunger will nearly finish everybody in the house because of time. So you have to have a day where you just cook all the soup and all the stew, put it in the fridge. Then you will not cook the rice, now bring out the stew, right? Takes so much time, you know. And many times, really, I feel like this is why a lot of us choose the right bad things for our dinner. We reach out to bread, I might just eat bread and tea. You just dunk all the bread inside the tea, and still you still wake up in the middle of the night looking for something to just hold your mouth. Not be so. So remember, bread, for those of us who cannot do without bread, bread is an ugly carbohydrate. Okay, bread is ugly, so you only take it as an occasional treat. And when you want to eat your bread, best way to have your bread is as a sandwich, 2 slices, and add a lot of good carbohydrates, which is the fiber, so your lettuce, your tomatoes, and then add some protein to it. So this your protein can be like chicken breast, slices of chicken breast, or tuna fish. For you to eat bread well, it has to be that list, and it takes time to create a sandwich, and it's expensive. So but with our meal replacement shake, you're getting all the good stuff in less than 2 minutes. So this is actually very good for those of us who want to lose weight or maintain our weight, and to be sure that we're only putting in the right stuff into our body. I highly recommend it. And we have a community where we basically just enjoy ourselves with this, where we're learning how to lose weight the healthy way by replacing our dinner with this meal replacement, and we're sure that we're getting just the right amount of things that our body needs. So you are welcome to join us. Please, whoever, if you find this video randomly on the internet, my details will be somewhere in the description, so you can reach out to me. But if someone shared this video with you, please reach out to the person and get more information on how you can actually get your meal replacement and also start your weight loss or weight management journey. I hope you guys got value. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, you can still share this video to somebody that needs it. If you know anybody who's struggling with losing weight, and maybe they feel like they've tried everything they know, this video might just be a game changer for them. It will help them to make better and intelligent food choices. And if they would like to also, try a meal replacement shake, please, you know, um, help them to get started with it. So thank you once again. Have a wonderful evening. And until I come your way again, make sure you're only having the good stuff. Bye bye.